Welcome back. In this module, we're going to talk a little bit more about the exciting topic of compliance and playing fair on Amazon. Not only you playing fair, but people actually, what they actually may do to you and how you can actually counter them if they're not playing fair to you. So you're going to hear a lot of things about what's called black hat tactics. Black hat tactics are things that are basically illegal for the most part. They're things that are shady. They're like finding loopholes in the system and exploiting those loopholes. At one time, several years ago, before Amazon actually had brand analytics and had all the tools now, where they're sharing all the keywords and the conversion rates and stuff, people were actually selling this data out of China. There was a Chinese office for Amazon where employees were, for bribes, were actually funneling this internal data. They were downloading these documents and putting them on the black market and selling them. Amazon sellers were buying these things for sometimes hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars per report, just so they could see what their competition is doing or what keywords were in the back end of their competitors' listings or how their PPC was doing. There's tons of that kind of stuff. There's people that have review farms and mostly in Asia. And in Asia, they will have these banks of computers and of cell phones, like 1,000 of them on a wall. And all they're doing is they're doing add to carts and they're doing wish list stuff, and they're doing all this crazy stuff that they know that influences the algorithm or influences the ranking, and they're basically cheating. They figured out how the system works and how they can influence the system, and then that's what they're doing. Or there's stuff like brushing, where you might have seen stories in the news in the past where someone's like, all of a sudden I got like 35 things from Amazon. I didn't order any of this stuff. What is this? It's people that are like creating fake orders on Amazon to make it look like there were sales happening, and they're just sending them to random people, so they actually have a real address to send them to, and it's helping them rank the product. They start with like 10 different Amazon seller accounts. And they keep one of these accounts really, really clean and really, really tight and play by the book and play by the rules. But the other 9, they would put the same products in those. And then they would do shady things just to rank. They would do what's called search, find, buy, or pay people to go buy the product, give them their money back, and then pay them to leave a review. And then what they would do is they would then merge those products into on the dirty accounts where they're doing this. Then they would take those and they would get the product ranked, and they would have it listed on there as another seller. And then as those guys got suspended by Amazon, got knocked off, they didn't care because it made the top one that was clean rise up. Those are examples of black hat tactics, and that's stuff that you don't want to do. There's times where you might want to know what the heck is going on, and you should know what's going on and what people are out there doing, but you should not partake in that. You want to stay with the core principles that we're teaching here. Just stick with that. Don't look for little shortcuts. Sometimes a shortcut might help you get out of a bind, you're in bind, but people always like the hacks. They always like what's the latest way to manipulate the system or to get an edge. And sometimes those things are great, and I teach some of those things sometimes because people like to hear that stuff. But that's not where the core of your business is. You need to stay with the fundamentals and stay with the basics and know what these cool things are. If there's a way that you can rank better on your product and it's totally within the terms of service and okay, then by all means use it. You know, a canonical URL or putting the keywords in, or when Amazon used to allow you to actually send out products for 99% off, and then those people could get the product for 99% off, then leave a review. And as long as they put the words, I received this product, I received this product in exchange for my honest review, as long as they put that disclaimer on Amazon, on the review, it was okay. Amazon stopped that in October of 2016. But though that was playing by the rules, that was manipulating the system, but it was playing by the rules at the time. So just whatever the rules are at the time, play by those rules. Search, find, buy is something that was big for a while, where people were doing what's called rebates. So there were companies that would charge you a fee, sometimes as much as $15 or $20. And what they would do is they would have a list of people. They'd have a Facebook group, or they'd have a list of people, and they would go out to the people and they'd say, hey, Kevin's got this new dog bowl. He's done the math with helium-10 and x-ray and everything, and he needs to sell 200 of these dog bowls in the next week. And we want to space it out so that the Amazon algorithm thinks he's starting off selling 20 the first day, 30 the second day. Let's make it look kind of natural. The third day he went to 26, so it wasn't constant going up. Then the fourth day he goes to 40, And then the 5th day he goes to 52. Then the 6th day he goes back to 41. And then the 7th day he goes to 78 or something. And it makes it kind of look like it's a natural sales pattern. And Amazon thereby ranks your product and moves you up from the bottom of the list to the top of the page, and you start selling more naturally to customers that aren't part of this scheme. And what they would do is they would say, you go buy the product, Kevin's going to give you your money back. So go buy the $20 dog bowl, and we will show us proof that you bought it, and then we will give you the $20 back. And then the company, for the broker that would facilitate this, would charge a $15 or $20 fee. And so but that's called search, find, buy, where people just search for a keyword, find the picture, and buy it. Amazon doesn't like that, so you don't want to do that kind of stuff anymore. But that was a big ranking thing. So these types of things are things that are out there that you're going to come across, but just be aware that if it might not be okay, it might be against the rules, and it could get you in trouble on your listing. And so some of the other things you got to think about is if you do if you do have a problem with your listing, Amazon's going to ask you to do what's called a POA, which is a plan of action. Sometimes they won't tell you what you did wrong. They just say, hey, your product is you did a violation. We're suspending your product until you fix it. You're like, what violation did I do? And sometimes you're able to contact the customer support, seller central support, and they actually might give you a clue. Or sometimes if you open up enough cases and you get enough emails, one of the guys will slip up and he'll say something in there. But a lot of times you're playing blind. But you got to do this plan of action to actually say, basically you admit guilt. Even if you're not at fault, you're going to have to say, I'm so sorry, I was a bad boy. I didn't put, I didn't make it clear in my instructions that the guys need to use this screw, or whatever the crazy thing may be. You just got to fall on the sword. And then Amazon's like, will say, okay, thank you so much. And tell them you fix the problem in the future. We're going to make sure it's very clear. There's a label here. We've taken all of our products back. We've fixed it, whatever it may be. Then Amazon's like, all right, we'll put you back up. That's called a plan of action. Sometimes they deny those plans of action, and you only get so many tries at it. And then they just shut it down and they say, sorry, no more. There's companies that help you with this. If you're not familiar with this, if you get into kind of trouble, there's companies like Ecom Chris, for example, Chris McCabe, who's got a section here below that you should watch, where he talks about some of these compliance issues in more detail, because he deals with this stuff. That's what his business does. He's dealing with it 40, 50 hours a week himself and his team. They're the people that someone calls in the middle of the night on a Saturday night, right before Cyber Monday, and said, my listing is down, help, I'm going to lose $100,000 in sales. How do I get it back up? This is the type of guy that can help you. So make sure you check out his little module. He's going to talk about it more, but they can help you with the plans of action. They can help you with finding the right contact to actually get something done, because it can be, Amazon's huge. And so trying to get through to the right people that can actually hit the right button to fix something sometimes can be daunting on Amazon or take time. Some other things you got to make sure you don't do is don't put URLs in your listings. URLs are websites, so you don't want to put that anywhere on your Amazon page, or if it's on your product packaging, make sure you don't show that in the picture. If you're showing your product packaging in your images, make sure there's no URL visible. It's hidden, or use Photoshop it out for whatever's going on Amazon. It could be on your box, it's okay, but just don't show it on Amazon or in any of your ads. Amazon doesn't like you sending traffic off of Amazon anywhere else. So no doing stuff like that. Don't incentivize reviews. Remember we talked in the last module about don't say, if you like this product, please go leave us a 5-star review. If you don't like it, email us, and we'll make it right for you. That's a noble thing to say, but that's incentivizing the review. It's basically saying, if you like us, go leave us a review. If you don't like us, don't leave us a review. Don't be negative to us. Call us and we'll fix it. Makes sense, but Amazon sees that as review manipulation. Don't do something where you offer a discount or a freebie in exchange for a review. Don't put something with 5 stars on it, or a little smile, or makes it look like you're incentivizing the review, even though you don't say the words or offer anything. Just implying with 5 little stars that look like the Amazon ratings is saying, leave us a 5-star review in Amazon's eyes. Don't do any of that kind of stuff. That can get you in trouble, in the hot water really, really fast. If you use heat intense feedback, be neutral in there. You can ask, okay to say, please, as a small business, we love hearing from our customers. We love it if you go and leave us a review on Amazon. That's very neutral. It's not saying if you liked it, if you didn't like it. It's nothing like that. That's okay. Don't attack your competitors. And there's people that play dirty. There's a lot of money in this, so it attracts some bad characters. So sometimes people will go in and figure out a way to get access to your account. Make sure you use the 2 layers of authentication for logging into your account, but sometimes they'll use it like a 1P account or an insider at Amazon. You'll see cases sometimes in the news about people getting busted for this, and that they'll go in and they'll change out your pictures. Someone was selling resistance bands at one time, and they're the number one selling resistance bands, and one of their competitors attacked them and said, hey, you basically, it's almost like a mafia type of threat. And they said, you quit doing this or else. And the people basically said, get lost. And so what did they do to them? They went in, they took their resistance bands picture and they changed it to a middle finger picture, a little emoji of a middle finger, saying F you. And so that was something, people will do that. Don't partake in that stuff. And if it happens to you, there's ways to fight it. There's special email addresses that you can send to, or people like e-commerce. Chris can help you get that kind of stuff fixed. But that's part of what's going to happen on Amazon. There are negative tactics. People will jump on your listing. One of the common things that we hear is that, there's a hijacker on my listing. How do I get them off? Now, a lot of people, they misconfuse another seller as a hijacker. Just because someone else is selling something on your product listing page doesn't mean they're a hijacker. They might have bought that product and then just reselling it, or they might have got it at a discount somewhere. So they're allowed to do that. The first sale right doctrine in the U.S. allows you to resell products. But if it's a true counterfeit where they're actually knocking you off and doing the exact same thing, that's a problem. But if you went to a Chinese factory you found on Alibaba and decided to just stick your logo on a product and put it up on Amazon, and then someone else comes up on Amazon with the exact same product and they use a slightly different logo and they're on your listing, is that a hijacker? Is that a counterfeiter? What is that? It means you probably, if you have a true hijacker, or you probably did not do enough to protect your IP and enough to differentiate your product. And if you're brand registered and there's a true violation there, you can usually get them taken off. But a lot of times that's just someone that's, when you hear that's someone has not done their proper work in setting up their business and their IP and their brand protection. Be careful when it comes to multiple accounts. You can have multiple seller central accounts. Some of the big agencies, they bounce around from account to account. But you want to, if you have multiple accounts, make sure they're for a specific purpose. Keep your brand separate. For example, I have my pet brand in this seller central account. I have my hand sanitizer brand in this seller central account. I have my calendar brand in this seller central account. I have my exercise brand in this seller central account. And it's okay to bounce back and forth, but what you don't want to do is have those accounts influence each other or have the same products in those accounts. I should not have my same pet bowl SKU in my pet product account and in my sports account, even though it might be a pet bowl for sporting enthusiast or something. You don't want to have it. Don't do that. That will get you in trouble, and Amazon will shut you down for using linked accounts or similar accounts. But having separate accounts is on, and the key is make sure it's a separate business, separate EIN number, separate bank account, separate email, a separate LLC or corporation or whatever. Everything is separate, and that's okay, because sometimes maybe you have partners, and you have partners in the pet brand. Your uncle came in with you, 50% partner. And your calendar brand, you own it 100%, so you need something separate. That's all okay, but just don't mix them, or don't have those accounts start helping each other out or influencing each other, or have the same products, and you'll be okay. Seller Central accounts, like I said in one of the other modules, are actually worth money. So if you end up deciding this Amazon gig is not for you, you could probably sell your Seller Central account at some point, depending on how many reviews and feedbacks you have will determine the value. Could be $500. It could be $15,000, $20,000 that just an empty account is worth. So these are assets. So protect them and guard them and protect them, and do everything you can. When you get seller feedbacks, and there's 2 types of feedback that you're going to get on Amazon. There's product feedback, and then there's seller feedback. Product feedback is what you see basically on the reviews. It's where people, they give it 1 to 5 stars, and they write a review, or they just give it 1 to 5 stars, just a rating. That's a product feedback. Some of those that sometimes you can get them removed. About 10 or 15% of them might actually violate the terms of service. and there's a process that you can actually go through to actually try to get those removed. Amazon doesn't like removing those reviews though, so it's a fight, it's a game, and sometimes even if the customer is just flat out wrong, they're not going to take it away. There are companies out there that you can look in the directory at Helium 10 that sometimes will help you do that process using AI and some other things, but that's one type of review. The other type is your seller feedback reviews, and these are basically meant to be like if you shipped it bad, if something was, you didn't package it correctly, or if there's something in the fulfillment process. That's what those are meant for. But what happens a lot of times is people will leave a custom review in the seller feedback section instead of in the product review section. If they do that, Amazon will remove that. I love it when that happens. When someone has a problem, instead of leaving it in the product review and knocking me down, to a 2-star review instead of a 5-star, and I can't get it taken off, they go and accidentally put it in the seller feedback section. I can report that to Amazon. You have a window of time, so I would be checking this every single month, but you can report that as this is not seller feedback, and Amazon will either completely erase it, or they'll put a strike through and say this does not meet our standards, this does not apply. They'll take it away. Or if someone's bitching about this product arrived and it was sent to the wrong address and my neighbor didn't give it to me for 3 weeks, 1 star, phooey on you. Amazon, if it was FBA, Amazon will then turn around and say, well, this was us that shipped it. It's not Kevin's fault, so we're not going to penalize Kevin. So they'll strike through it. But that score is a super important score to maintain you want that above 98%. And that adds value to.
Anh chị đang bán hàng trên Amazon. Skyrock cung cấp các dịch vụ dành cho các nhà bán hàng trên Amazon với mức giá cực kỳ ưu đãi như đăng ký brand với USPTO, từ Helium 10, từ Trên Scout, Logistics và Warehouse. Xem hình thông tin chi tiết dưới phần mô tả nhé.
Your seller account, it adds value to your trust factor, to your ranking. So monitor that and make sure that you get the bad things out of there when you just report them as this is not applicable. And the AI tool, oftentimes it'll do it right away. It's instant. Sometimes it sends it off to someone to actually check. But make sure you do that. Be careful on illegal items. Stay away from any kind of restricted products, CBD, marijuana products. Be careful on things that requires medical certifications. There's certain things that require that you be truly medically certified, not just with an FDA certificate, but truly medical certified. So be careful with selling any of that kind of stuff or making any kind of claims. This is even environmental claims. This is environmentally friendly, or this is sustainable, or this is 100% green, recyclable. All those things have to have substantiation, and you have to have testing and backup to make those claims, or otherwise Amazon will probably remove the listing or suspend the listing. Don't abuse the customer support. You're able to reach out to customers. Amazon won't give you their email address, but they will blindly, through like a proxy, send a message to a customer. Don't abuse that. If you need to reach out to a customer because you need to fix a problem, you can reach out to them. But don't reach out to them just to ask them hey, we got a new sale going on or something like that. You'll get flagged. In those customer service emails, you can't put outside URLs. So you can't tell them go to our website and download this PDF. So don't abuse the customer contact. Amazon will only allow you to send so many customer contacts per day anyway. It's a percentage based on how many orders you've had over the last period of time. So even if you got where I've used it in bulk in the past is where I had a problem with a product that there was a missing part. And so I need to reach out to all the customers and say, hey, I'm so sorry. This piece was missing in the first 200 orders that we sold. We'd be happy to ship it to you. If you can just reply with your order number or with your address, or we will actually get that out to us, or reach out to us. We'll get this fixed for you, or we'll send you a brand new product. If just let us know, we'll send you a replacement product for free. Those types of things are okay to do through there. When customers want returns, sometimes I don't even make them return the product. If it's a low price product, it's not worth the hassle of asking them to return it so I can see it before I give them their money back. I just say, I'm so sorry, this product was no good. We have a new one coming right away to you. Please just keep the one you have, or throw it away, or donate it. No need to return it. And that often will make them a little bit happier. Oh, thank God, I don't have to package this up and go stand in line at UPS or the post office. And then they won't leave you a negative review a lot of times. It'll stop them from leaving you a negative review. And then I just put in a fulfillment order on Amazon. You can go in and you can actually have Amazon where you can request them please ship one of my units to this person, and you can ship them a replacement. And I try to get that to them in a day or two, even though it costs me a little bit of money. It's just a cost of doing business. Don't do any kind of fake orders or unnatural boost. A natural boost would be like having companies in Indonesia add your product to cart, so that influences the algorithm, or have people create fake orders. There's people at times that would do FBM orders for a $50 product, say a new Bluetooth speaker, and they would make them FBM, so fulfilled by merchant, not fulfilled by Amazon. And so Amazon, when people would order this $50 product, instead of sending them a $50 product, this would be a chain of people. They'd all working together, like a network of people. And they would, instead of sending them the product, they'd send them an envelope in the mail for $1 or $2 that had a tracking number on it. And they put that tracking number into Amazon, so it looked like something was legitimately shipped, but it actually wasn't the $50 item. They just sent a blank envelope with a tracking number on it. That's manipulation. Those kind of things you don't want to do. Rank manipulation is something that you want to stay away from, where you're trying to influence the BSR, influence where you appear on the page. Do it naturally by doing advertising, by sending outside traffic to Amazon listing. All those are fine, but don't do anything that's truly gaming the system. Also, when it comes to variations, remember you can have a parent and a child relationship. So if there's variation abuse, where people will actually take the variation and they will put things that are not related in there. So they'll put a blender with a hairdryer. That's variation abuse, because they're trying to rank the two together. Or you don't do that. Variations need to be all the similar type of products, different sizes or different colors, or different textures, or different fabrics, something like that. And they need to be related. Don't do unrelated things. Sometimes you'll see reviews on Amazon where people you start reading the reviews, and you're trying to buy a blender, and you get about halfway through the reviews, and all of a sudden they're talking about a hairdryer. And then the next group of reviews are talking about a Bluetooth speaker. Those are people that are manipulating and doing merging, where they're merging old listings. Someone started selling on Amazon, and then they just gave up. They just ran out of inventory, or they just abandoned the listing. People go and they find these, and they pull them out of the graveyard, and then they merge them with the current listing. They have Amazon, they do some manipulation with the pictures, and they merge them with the current listing, so that they can get all those 5-star rankings and all those reviews. And they know that most people don't scroll down and look at all the reviews. But now with Amazon doing it with AI, it's catching a lot of this stuff more. So that those kind of things are becoming harder. But don't do that. Don't violate someone else's trademarks. The trademark infringement. Don't use the Nike mark or the Apple logo or something on your product, or don't violate other people's trademarks. If you're in doubt, you can go to trademarkia.com and see if there's a trademark on it, or if it's got the little TM or the R. It's probably TM means it's not registered yet. R in the circle means it's registered and official. Make sure you're not violating someone's trademarks. Don't use other people's images. If you're going to use stock photos, make sure you're using licensed photos. Don't just copy them off the internet and use them. Go to one of the stock photo sites. There's tons of them out there, and pay the licensing fee, so that there's never going to be a problem if you sell the company down the road. Remember, we talked about having a document warehouse. You're going to have those documents in there. So if all the pictures on your listing, if you haven't been creating this along the way, and you go to sell the company, they're going to say, show me the proof that you have the rights to all these images. And you may have to go back and try to figure that out. But if you're doing it along the way, you're good. If you're creating AI images, there's no, as of now, the U.S. Copyright Office says that you cannot copyright AI images. They're not copyrighted. They're not protected under IP. So AI images can be copied over and over by other people. So your AI stuff is really not protected. So keep that in mind if you're generating something AI and somebody else does a similar picture in AI, or they even use your same picture. You may not be able to do anything with them. You may be just because they're not protectable under the current law. That may change, but under the current law, they're not protectable. So when it comes to main images, Amazon has special rules on your main image. Like your main image has to be on a white background. They like to see that. You get up to 7 images plus, and one of those can actually be a video on your listing. And Amazon now is actually using AI and some of their systems to actually check it. And they want to. They're using images, like we talked about earlier, to help with ranking. And there's a lot of listings that have 1 or 2 images, or they're not very good images, and they really want people to pump up the value of the images, because they know, just like I said earlier, people buy photos, not products, and they eat with their eyes first, so they know that these images need to be good. So Amazon's now looking to see if you have 3 main types of images on your listing. Do you have a general white background product photo as your main image? Do you have a lifestyle picture, someone using the product in a real setting? And do you also have like an infographic? An infographic is one of these things that has all the little LLs and pointing out the characteristics and the features and the benefits of the product. Do you have that? Those are 3, they really are emphasizing they want those 3 things included in every single listing. And if you don't have those in there, their system detects that you don't have it, or a human reports that you don't have it, they're opening up your listing, even if you're brand registered, to allow other people to come in there and change your pictures and add their pictures or add additional content to it. And you may not be too happy about that, and you're not going to be able to override it because you didn't do it properly. You might be able to open up a case and say, okay, hey, this guy's not brand registered. I'm the brand. I fixed it. Now I got my pictures in there. Please get their crap off. But it's a problem. So make sure you do that kind of stuff correctly. Don't make any unsubstantiated claims. This happens a lot in supplements and stuff. You can't say this is the best or the most wonderful or the most beautiful, or you can't say this helps prevent cancer, or this solves diabetes or something, unless you have medical independent studies that back that up. You got to be careful with any kind of claims or unsubstantiated claims that you make. Even sustainable products, if you're doing sustainable stuff, saying this is 100% recyclable, you have to back that up, or Amazon will suspend the listing. Another thing is, if you want to keep track of what's happening on your listings, Helium 10 has an alerts tool. So it goes periodically and will check your listing, and it kind of takes a snapshot in time and will compare it to something that, how was it yesterday or how was it a week ago? And if something has changed, it'll send you a little alert and it'll say, hey, notice ASIN blah, blah, blah just recently got changed. You might want to go check it. And that's a really good tool to use to see if someone's messing with your listing, to see if Amazon took something down. Occasionally I'll get a message where the picture was removed. Amazon removed my 3rd picture because they felt something was in violation. It might have been, there's a woman in a lifestyle picture and they just felt that she was showing too much cleavage or something. And their system detected that there's too much flesh in this picture or something. And so they took it down. But it takes Amazon sometimes you never get a notice. They just take it down. A lot of times that notice email comes to you 24 or 48 hours later, but you might need to know that like right away. It could be a serious thing. It could be your main image. It's affecting your conversion rates. The Helium 10 alerts tool will let you know with pretty quickly, way faster than Amazon will, so you can go and address that issue. If you're having issues with a product all of a sudden disappearing, you want to check for suspension or suppression. Sometimes they'll suppress things. Usually, if there's a major issue, they'll just they'll say this product is not if it's a minor issue, they'll say this product is not available right now. Please check back later. And the listing still might be there. They just don't allow you to order it. If it's a more serious issue, you click on the listing, you'll probably be sent to one of the dog pages. The dog pages are like an error page, and it's got a picture of one of the dogs of Amazon on it. When you get that, you're in hot trouble. You need to get something fixed because your listing has totally been removed from, not removed from the system, but removed from public view. And you're going to have to go in and fix that. Like I said, monitor your reviews, your negative reviews and complaints. That's something that you always want to be doing. If you lose the buy box is where people can just add to cart. If you lose that, it could be a pricing issue. It could be a hijacker issue. The pricing issue could be your product is being sold on Walmart or on Target or somewhere else cheaper, and Amazon picked that up and they figured it out and they don't like that. It could be that you have a pricing error, that your price for your product, you made a typo or something in the price and it's outside of the band of what normal products sell for, similar products sell for, and Amazon takes the buy box away for that. It can also be because you're doing FBM versus FBA. There's a whole list of reasons, but you want to make sure you don't lose that buy box because it will suppress your conversions. Monitor your return rates. Keep track of your returns. Handle your returns, and just suck it up and just make them happy. You don't want that negative review. Do everything you can without, it's within the terms to actually make sure they don't get that negative review. Like I said, tell them they don't even have to ship it back. Don't worry about it. we'll send you a new one. You don't have to hassle with all this kind of stuff. Send it to them right away, maybe even giving them a discount on the next order, or send them a free gift as a bonus. So sorry for the trouble. Here's a free gift on one of our other products. Do whatever you can to make people happy. Amazon's all about the customer. They're not about the seller. They don't really care about you as a seller. They care about the customer at all costs. That's their number one thing. Always make sure you're in stock. And we've talked about that in the past. Stock levels are super important. Category changes or something else that can happen. Sometimes Amazon goes to their catalog, either a human in the catalog team in Amazon, or a automated system goes through and they reclassify things. And sometimes all of a sudden your sales will drop and you're like, what the heck just happened? I'm not ranking on this keyword anymore. You want to check your category, your node. They might have stuck you into a different subcategory or a different node. And then you can open up a case and get that changed back if you have a good reason to get that changed back. Remember, we talked about the A9 algorithm. It's constantly changing. And the best thing to do for that is to make sure you keep track with the monthly Freedom Ticket webinars that we're doing. Or join Helium 10 Elite, where we talk about in detail some of this stuff. And we'll keep you up to date on the latest algorithm changes, because that can affect everything, especially with AI and everything, the way search is changing, the way Amazon's analyzing listings now. There's constant changes. So you got to stay on top of that. Another thing is, if you've been running promotions, we had a section where someone's talking about how to set up coupon codes down in the bonuses of the Freedom Ticket here. It's not in the core part, but down in the bonuses, there's someone showing you how to do all the discounts and set up promotions and coupons and discount codes and everything, and that can really help your conversion rate. If all of a sudden you have a drop in sales or something, maybe your promotion ended. Maybe you forgot that you set an expiration date, and you can go and check that. So check those kinds of things. There's seasonality impacts on Amazon. There's times of the year where certain things sell better. Exercise things sell better the first of the year when people are making New Year's resolutions. Other seasonality is, around holidays, or summers can be slow for certain products. Certain days of the week are slower than other days of the week. There's total seasonality. As the sun comes out more in the U.S., people are online less. So there's all this seasonality. So Amazon will oftentimes do testing when it's slow. So you'll usually see from like March until like June is when they do a lot of their heavy testing. And then they might do a little bit more in August and September. But that's when they do a lot of their testing of like new features or new things on the listing or new ways. And then sometimes they revert them back, and sometimes they become permanent. Make sure your stay on track of your keyword rankings. Use Helium 10's keyword tracker to make sure that you're not all of a sudden losing a lot of rank, and see where you're at and you're not bouncing around. That's an important thing that you got to stay on top of. Always be monitoring it. At least I like to do it daily. Some people do it weekly, your PPC campaigns, and make sure nothing's going crazy or getting out of hand there and just blowing a hole in your wallet. So monitor those. Atomic's a really good tool to actually keep track of that as well, to see what's going on. Amazon, sometimes, if you're not getting disbursements, maybe your credit card is expired. The expiration date has expired. Those kinds of things you got to stay on top of too. Check, make sure that all your products or all your listings are indexing with Index Checker. So you want to check and make sure if there's certain keywords, make sure you're actually showing up for those keywords. If you're not, that might be a sign that Amazon moved you to another category. Make sure you're not over limit. You haven't got a really long title, and all of a sudden Amazon is requiring you to have shorter titles, and that's causing problems with your product. So don't use HTML in your product descriptions. Even though some of it works, like the bolding and italic and the line breaks, Amazon doesn't like HTML tags and product descriptions. Even though it makes it look prettier, they don't like that. So there's so many things that you got to stay on top of when it comes to Amazon. These are just a handful of them. No matter what you do, you want to investigate things and you want to fix everything quickly. The faster you can be on it, the better you're going to prevent any problems of losing rank, losing sales. Even if it's a weekend, this is a 24 hours a day, 7 days a year, 7 days a week business, 365 days a year business. Just remember, like even if an Amazon customer asks you a question, you have 24 hours to answer that question, even if it's on a weekend, even if it's on a holiday. If the question is not relevant, you can say no response needed. But don't don't ignore customer questions. You have to have someone answer those within 24 hours, or it's going to ding your seller performance score, and it's going to hurt you on rankings, hurt you on a whole bunch of things. So there's a lot of stuff, as you can see, that you got to stay on top of here. This is just touching the surface. Make sure you check out Chris's module down below that actually goes into more detail on some of the more serious and the big things that you need to pay attention to. Hopefully this has been helpful for you, and we'll see you again here shortly.
Anh chị đang bán hàng trên Amazon. Skyrock cung cấp các dịch vụ dành cho các nhà bán hàng trên Amazon với mức giá cực kỳ ưu đãi như đăng ký brand với USPTO, tuần theo LIêN, tuần chơi Scout, logistics và warehouse. Xem hình thông tin chi tiết dưới phần mô tả nhé.